sono qui con Jessica. Jessica è una powerlifter americana che gareggia nella meno 47 kg. Lascerò a lei dire un po' i titoli e i risultati che ha ottenuto, così sono sicuro di non sbagliare. Come altre volte, l'obiettivo è quello di fare una chiacchierata informale dove parliamo sostanzialmente di come si allena, di come vanno le cose. Lei è molto giovane, ha ottenuto già degli ottimi risultati, ha fatto parlare di sé. Mi piacerebbe un pochino vedere come si allena, magari facendo dei confronti con come si allenava in passato, come ha intenzione di progredire da qua in avanti, infortuni, facendo un po' una chiacchierata in generale. Lei si allena seguita dagli Strength Guys, che comunque se siete interessati, ho già intervistato Jason, c'è un altro episodio disponibile sul podcast, potete ascoltarlo. E quindi, come mi ha accennato prima di partire con la registrazione, può parlare fino a un certo punto di alcune cose perché sono comunque alcune cose private tra lei e il suo coach su come gestiscono l'allenamento, quindi magari certi dettagli diciamo, sono i trucchi del mestiere che preferiscono non rivelare, però magari le logiche in linea di massima le riusciamo a tirare fuori. Hello Jessica, introduce yourself.
Hi. Well, of course, I'm Jessica Espinal. I'm 22, going to turn 23 at the end of the year. Going into 2024 with high hopes of making the national team again and going international to Worlds again this year to Lithuania.
Okay, so how did you start training in powerlifting?
I started in high school. So where I live in Texas, it's really normal for kids to pursue a sport in high school and then like go on to do it in college. For me, powerlifting was very small, and I kind of got recruited through one of my classes. Um, and one of my classmates just mentioned it to me, and I was like, sure, I'll go ahead and try it for a day or two. And then I hated it at first. But
Why?
then, I don't know, I think I just didn't have I don't know. I just did not like it at first. I think because I was weak and I was seeing everybody like lift really heavy weights already, mostly like men. So that's probably why. And I was like a bit uncomfortable. But then they're like, you know what? Let's try it again next week maybe. And I did. And then I kind of found my groove. And then I'm like, okay, I can do this. And then I started having fun and I decided to keep going.
Okay, and when did you start competing?
Um, in high school, I started competing as
Oh.
well. Yeah, so I started, let's see, like 3 months after I first started lifting for powerlifting specific training. I will say that our workouts in high school were not as like specific towards like yourself. They were more like general. The whole team kind of did the same thing. But it wasn't anything specific, I guess.
Okay. Do you remember your first powerlifting meet? What was your best numbers back then?
Honestly, I don't, but I do know that it is on open powerlifting, so I could look that up. But sorry, I'm like typing it in real quick.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I can say that I didn't have any type of technique. Like it was purely, I guess, gym bro lifting or ego lifting, if you want to call it like that. And we also did it equipped.
Oh.
So I had to be in equipment too. So I was 16. I was in the 97-pound weight class, which is like what, 44, I think, kilos, around there. And my squats were 180. My bench was 60 and my deadlift was 200. And this is in pounds. So that all translates to way less in kilos.
Okay, so you are at a similar body weight now because you're competing in the minus 47, right? Okay. Okay, right. It's interesting. And how are you training right now?
It is way different than compared to then. Like, of course, one, I'm not in equipment anymore, just raw. Now my program is very specific towards me. One thing that Jason and I have talked about is how much I can tolerate just as a small lifter, and just overall, it's kind of, abnormal for somebody of a small size to be able to tolerate so much workload. But I handle it pretty well just because my variables are usually all, consistent throughout the day, throughout the week. I do everything the same. So yeah, it's really different than whatever I was training back in high school.
Okay, so is Jason, maybe I don't get it. Is Jason saying that you are atypical in a manner that you are tolerating less volume or more volume than usual?
More.
Ah,
I
more,
would
okay.
an average. Um,
Okay.
that's somebody of my average size.
So I guess you're training a lot.
Yes.
Okay, and how many days a week are you training now?
I train 5 days a week.
Okay, and how many squats, how many benches, how many deadlifts a week?
I train squats 3 times. I train deadlift 2 times, and I bench 5 times.
Oh, I'm taking notes, don't worry.
No, you're sorry.
Ok, so give me a minute, I will translate and then we will continue later. Ok, allora faccio un po' una panoramica di come è la situazione, da dove è partita e come si allena adesso rispetto a come è partita, perché mi diceva, lei adesso sta per compiere 23 anni, come vi dicevo, molto giovane, e ha iniziato a fare powerlifting alla fine delle scuole superiori e la sua prima gara mi ha detto che l'ha fatta dopo 3 mesi che aveva già iniziato a allenarsi e aveva 16 anni, ha gareggiato nella categoria 44 kg di peso corporeo, però si allenava attrezzata, cioè gareggiava attrezzata, ha recuperato i numeri che ha fatto a quella prima gara e mi ha detto che ha fatto circa 180 libbre di squat, ricordate che è attrezzato, di panca 60 libbre e di stacco 200 libbre, quindi adesso per fare un po' i conti della serva, circa 80 e qualcosa chili di squat e sui 90 kg circa di stacco per darvi una prospettiva. Adesso tenete in mente che lei gareggia a 23 anni e gareggia nella meno 47, quindi il peso corporeo suo non è cambiato tantissimo, però dopo glielo chiederò, ma adesso i numeri che fa sono decisamente più alti perché ha circa 100 kg di panca, almeno li ho visto fare in allenamento 100 kg di panca e ha fatto non vorrei dire una stupidaggine, ma sui 140 buoni, forse anche di più di squat e mi pare sui 175 ci ho visto fare una doppia di stacco, quindi probabilmente può fare ben di più, o almeno questo era quello che ha fatto di recente. Ma dopo comunque glielo chiedo a lei. In questo momento è seguita, come dicevo, da Jason degli Strength Guys. E, si allena 5 volte a settimana, fa 3 squat, 2 stacchi e 5 panche a settimana e mi diceva che rispetto ad altre persone di più o meno la stessa struttura e caratteristiche, lei regge molto più lavoro, molto più volume, infatti mi ha detto che si allena tanto e anche Jason era un po' stupito del fatto che appunto potesse reggere così tanto. Dopo ne parliamo perché questo è un argomento interessante, perché se avete visto mai qualche sua alzata, vedete che ha delle leve un po' particolari, una struttura particolare con dei ram molto corti, quindi quello sommato al peso corporeo e una serie di caratteristiche probabilmente sono parte del motivo per cui regge molto più volume del normale. What do you think is the major factor that allows you to train that much?
Um, I will say I'm very, what is it? I like to have everything organized by time every day. I do the same things every day, all the time. So I'm a college student, so I have my schedule of classes. And every time I get my schedule, I work around that and then plan my training. And then everything else comes after. I also like work 2 jobs. I also have a dog. I also I don't know. I also have to study, especially that. So I have to just plan everything. Um, and just having like my set schedule helps me do that.
Mhm. So at the moment you are training, you are studying at college, and you're also working 2 different jobs.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. What
Yeah.
what what kind of jobs? if I may ask?
That's okay. One of them is a grocery store outside of school, and the other one, I work on campus. I do research in a lab, um, working with proteins and, our research nerd stuff.
Wow. Yeah, biochemistry, right?
Yes, biochemistry.
Okay. So let's deep it a little bit inside the training schedule. So let's talk about squats first. You're training 3 squats a day, a week. Okay. Um, can you explain me a little bit how is the squat arranged during the week? How many sets, that kind of stuff?
I will say that most I have 3 different squat days because one of them, like in the middle, is a little bit, let's say, like more of a recovery squat day. So throughout the week, load gets heavier and we increase our volume. So I do also have, what is it, quite a lot of sets. Like squats can take up to an hour and a half or 2 hours. Sometimes it's my longest of the week. Also because I take like long rest times because I get tired, right? But it can take very long. Yeah.
Okay. How many sets can have a session?
I think the most I've ever had is maybe 6,
Okay.
maybe 8. I'm not too sure. Just because my memory also kind of sucks. But I think it's around 6 to 8 sets. Like that's the most sets that I've had.
Okay. This is usually the first session, the heavier one, maybe on the first of the week.
Yeah, and
Okay.
sometimes even my day 2,
Okay. The day two is the lighter session,
kind of.
kind
So
of.
it's lighter in terms of I don't have as many sets. Weight still goes up. But I mean, it's just as hard as the first one, so I
Okay.
don't know if I could call it easy. It's just like, I guess for my body, it looks like a recovery because it's not as many sets. Maybe that's why.
And what about the third one?
The third one is more of a primary. I do an SBD.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's, yeah.
Competition style squat.
Mhm. I
Okay.
don't have any variations on my squat.
Oh, no
All,
variation.
all of them are comp.
Oh, low
Mhm.
bar,
Yeah.
comp style. Oh, interesting. All year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I think it's because just due to the way I'm built, a squat has always kind of just come hard to me. Um, I don't know why. Maybe just like my technique. Sometimes it feels like it's not as good, and sometimes it feels like really good. And those 3 days of just having like comp squat, just like reinforces my technique, which makes it better for my primary day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um, what about let me explain it this. Um, I would like to know if every session is like a fixed load and you repeat sets over set, or you are doing something like a ramping and then a back off, or singles and then a back off. Tell me a little bit.
I guess I could kind of describe it like Leah's training, Leah
Mm.
Bevel. I do similar squats to her. Like my squats are modeled after what she does too.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about the way she's training? Because I don't know actually.
Oh, okay. Well, we do a top load, like a heavy load, and ideally, like Jason gives us a certain range. I don't know how hers is laid out, but for me, I get a range um, of what I can pick for my top load, and if needed, I can adjust it down
Okay. Is this for every set or only for the top set?
for every set.
For every set. So let's say you have 5 sets with a fixed load. You have a range and a top and a bottom of this range, and you can choose whatever you feel like best fits that day. and then
Yes.
you perform with that load for each set.
Hmm?
Okay, okay. And what about singles? Do you practice heavy singles in the squat?
Not really.
Not really.
No. Only in competition prep. Like only for my last 3 weeks, maybe even 2 weeks. We put it off just again because of the technique issues previously mentioned. Sometimes it just doesn't click. So I just work better with like more reps.
Okay. So during the last phase of the preparation for the competition, you told me last 2 to 3 weeks out. Um, how often do you practice singles in that period of the year?
Um, I would say it probably increases throughout each week. So maybe that first week we'll only do like one single on one day. And then maybe the next week we'll do two singles on one day.
Mm.
And next week, well, it's usually also like taper week. So we'll do like a single, but it'll just be like one single. Like it's not a lot.
So generally just once per week, maybe more than one singles, but only one day,
Yeah.
which is I suppose is the last day, the SBD day. Okay, okay. Ok, give me a moment. Allora, mi ha spiegato un pochino Jessica come è impostato il suo squat adesso e fa riferimento un po' in generale, dopo mi ha detto delle indicazioni su com'è nell'ultimo periodo pre-gara e com'è in generale, diciamo. Allora, sostanzialmente vi dicevo, lei fa 3 squat a settimana, di questi 3 squat a settimana mi diceva che sono abbastanza impegnative come sedute perché l'alzata che ci mette più tempo è quella con cui lei ha un po' più difficoltà a livello tecnico, dice che non sempre lo sente bene. Allora, la cosa curiosa è che sostanzialmente lei fa sempre e solo squat da gara, sostanzialmente in modalità gara, quindi con cintura e tutto quello che ci va dietro e lo bar, non fa varianti. Mi diceva che dura 1 ora e mezza, anche 2 ore, come seduta solo lo squat, dopo, vabbè, con le tipiche pause da powerlifter per capirci, però sostanzialmente molto lunga. E sulle 3 sedute mi ha detto che il giorno in mezzo, quindi la seduta 2, è quella che lei considera un po' più leggero, anche se in realtà è comunque pesantina, mi ha detto che non c'è un vero giorno leggero, è che mai c'è un po' meno volume, mentre quando c'è tanto volume, che di solito è sulla seduta 1, può essere anche 6-8 serie. Il giorno 3 fa un giorno SBD, quindi come tanti atleti ultimamente fanno, dove fa tutte e tre le alzate in modalità da gara, però lo squat appunto dicevo lo fa sempre in modalità da gara. Per quanto riguarda il discorso di singole, mi ha detto che lei più di tanto non fa singole, le singole sono riservate per la parte finale della preparazione della gara, che mi diceva circa 2 o 3 settimane prima della gara, e tendenzialmente in quel periodo lì lei fa singole su un giorno solo, che è il terzo giorno, quello di SBD, quindi lì probabilmente fa tipo simulazione da gara e con delle singole che avranno una sua progressione. Mi ha detto che può essere che ci siano più di una singola, ma la prima settimana parte una singola, la seconda settimana ma ne fa due, però tendenzialmente restano solo su quel giorno lì, e l'ultima settimana ovviamente fa il taper, ma questo è un altro discorso. Un'altra cosa interessante è che lei ha tendenzialmente, gli viene assegnato dall'allenatore un range di peso da scegliere per il volume che ci deve fare. Quindi gli dà un certo margine di autoregolazione che può scegliere lei, dopo lei sceglie in base a come si sente, a come va la seduta e tutto quanto, e dopo ci fa tutto il volume con quello lì. Quindi c'è una certa forma di autoregolazione così. Per tradurre anche quello che hai detto prima di parlare di tagli dello squat, ci tenevo a precisare che questa ragazza, oltre ad essere studente del college perché fa biochimica, mi sembra, e oltre a allenarsi, lei fa anche 2 lavori, mi ha detto che ha un negozio e in più fa un lavoro in ambito universitario di ricerca, se ho capito bene, e quindi deve un po' cercare di incastrare tutto quanto perché chiaramente trovare il tempo per allenarsi quando si fa così tanto volume, così tanto lavoro, perché lei si allena 5 volte a settimana, diventa un po' delicato, però lei dice di essere molto brava a organizzarsi e che forse questo è uno dei motivi per cui riesce anche a gestire bene tanto lavoro insomma, di allenamento. Okay, okay. So, have you ever tried with different variations in the squat in the past?
I think have we? I think under Jason specifically, we have not.
Okay. How long have you been training with Jason?
About 2 years, I think.
Okay. And before him, have you ever tried different style of squats or variation or safety bar or something else?
Yes, I did high bar and I've done safety bar. Have I done safety bar? I think so. I've done SSB as well. Um, I noticed that with all of those, they never really worked with me.
Hmm.
High bar, I would get SI pain. Um,
Hmm.
SSB would throw me too much forward and I'd like fall into the rack. I just couldn't like center my mass with the SSB. Um, and safety bar, I think, is that the same thing? I don't even know.
SSB and safety bar, I guess, are the same, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Like with the big
Uh-huh,
cap.
uh-huh. Yes.
Yeah, yes. Um, yeah, it
Okay.
just didn't work for me. Yeah, I don't know. It was really weird. So I just haven't tried it since.
Well, it kind of looks like it's working now, all over,
Yeah,
so why
it doesn't
changing?
matter. Yeah.
So my curiosity is, do you have any problem with, I don't know, the positioning or some wrist or elbow, shoulders pain, doing all that low bar?
I would say my biggest issue would probably be my positioning and my midfoot, like creating the center of mass, um, like to where the bar is and how I like go down. That's my biggest issue because it can vary. I'm really sensitive to body weight changes. I'm really sensitive to what I eat in a day. If I don't eat like the exact same, a day before, and then I go into a session, my body can feel different, and that like little difference can impact, where I'm at in my center mass, and I have to adjust, and it can be variable.
Hmm, okay. Maybe it's because uh, I suppose since you are very light, even a smaller difference, mm, proportionally speaking, is a big difference. So
Yes.
maybe that's enough to, change everything and you feel weird. Okay, so no problems with shoulders or anything in the low bar setting.
Not really. I used to have wrist issues, like my wrist couldn't bend back. Um, but now it's like since resolved because I've learned to like actually set the bar on my back and not like grab it with my wrist. That was an issue too. Oh my gosh. I've had so many issues. Like I've had every type of issue you could think of on squat with technique. Yeah.
Hmm. So are you squatting now with heels?
No,
No, flat.
but
Okay, okay. And have you tried back then in the past with heels?
yes, I tried in October last year, maybe September. I tried for like a month. And I used the heels because the same thing as before. My center of mass was off, and I was falling too much into my heels. So I was like, okay, I need to switch to like my toes or like more in the middle of my foot. So the heels actually helped correct that. So when I got into flats, I was
Hmm.
like right in that middle, like
Okay.
good position. And then now I'm like falling too far forward. So I have to go back into my heels. And now it's just like, I don't
Back
know.
and forth.
I just have to find the center. Yeah, I don't know.
So you use it strategically for a period in order to correct a technical problem and not in order to just squat with the heels. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I know. I thought I would stick to heels too because it would feel better. And it does feel better at like lighter loads. But at the heavy loads, no,
Hmm.
it just can't.
Yeah, that's very common. You're not the only one. It's very common issue with people when they try heels. They feel like, oh, now I can squat very low, deep, easier to get back in the bottom position. But once the weight gets heavier, oof,
Yes.
it throws you off. It makes you out of balance. And mm, okay, okay. What about pose squat or slow tempo or anything like that? Do you practice with that any times?
Do we? I don't. No, I don't think we've ever done tempo, pause, or any type of like variation either. It's just kind of go.
Ok, ok. Allora, ho chiesto a Jessica qualche altro dettaglio in più su come sta gestendo lo squat. Allora, mi ha detto che sostanzialmente negli ultimi 2 anni, da quando si allena seguito da Jason, bene o male ha fatto sempre squat low bar, classico, stile da competizione, e le cose funzionano bene così. Mi ha detto che insomma ha avuto qualche difficoltà ogni tanto con il stare centrata, di non sbilanciarsi e sentirla bene la tecnica, però al di là di quello non ha mai fatto grandi altre varianti, altre cose, anche adesso negli ultimi tempi non fa, non so, pause, tempi rallentati, cose così, nello bar non li fanno. In passato, prima di lavorare con Jason, ha fatto, quindi più di 2 anni fa, ha fatto un periodo dove ha provato anche la safety bar o l'high bar, eccetera, però non si è trovata bene perché ha detto che l'high bar gli dava noia e fastidio alla sacroiliaca, gli dava dolori, e questa è una cosa curiosa. Mentre per quanto riguarda la safety bar mi diceva che la sbilanciava, non si trovava bene, non ha mai avuto grossi benefici da utilizzarla e quindi sostanzialmente ha abbandonato. Per quanto riguarda invece il discorso di sbilanciarsi e essere ben centrata, che dice che è sostanzialmente il problema principale che ha, mi ha detto che una cosa curiosa mi ha detto è che ha fatto un periodo in cui ha utilizzato le scarpe col tacco, perché lei normalmente fa squat con la scarpa piatta, apposta per correggere un problema di sbilanciamento, perché sostanzialmente lei aveva il difetto che tendeva ad andare troppo indietro, sbilanciarsi indietro. Ha usato circa un mese le scarpe col tacco e questo l'ha aiutata diciamo, andando troppo nella direzione opposta, poi tornando sulle scarpe sulla piatta, a trovarsi più centrata. Adesso pian pianino mi ha detto che comunque ha ancora di nuovo qualche problema di sbilanciamento, però è una cosa comune sul suo squat, ha detto che è spesso che si sbilancia, che ha cose così. Mi diceva anche che è molto sensibile ai cambiamenti di peso corporeo o con l'alimentazione, che quindi gli basta che mai per un giorno non abbia mangiato bene, non abbia mangiato quello che mangia di solito o che cambi poco il peso corporeo e subito ne risente il suo squat. Che ci sta, insomma, considerando anche che lei che è molto leggera in proporzione, magari anche una differenza piccola di peso corporeo la sente, contando anche i pesi che usa in rapporto al suo peso corporeo. Ehm, per quanto riguarda una cosa di cui ero molto curioso, cioè se avesse mai avuto qualche problema a livello di dolori, infortuni e problemi di vario tipo con tutto quello bar, e mi dice che sostanzialmente non ha grossi problemi, li regge bene anche la posizione delle spalle, i gomiti, eccetera. Vedo che per un piccolo periodo ho avuto fastidio ai polsi, però il problema è stato più che altro perché non metteva bene il bilanciere sulle spalle, adesso ha trovato diciamo, una posizione per incastrare il bilanciere in maniera ottimale, che il bilanciere sta lì, non deve spingerlo, tenerlo forte con le mani, e ha risolto quindi il problema dei polsi in quel modo. Um, Jessica, I have a curiosity about the technique you use in your squat, because I can see that the style you have in your squat, you have I would say, medium to narrow stance, and I can see that when the weight gets heavier, you have a little bit of knee valgus, a knee in pattern. And what do you think about that? Is it that something that you are looking for? You're trying to how can I say, to replicate and practice, and you want to do that, or is something that just happened?
I think that it just happens.
Okay.
Um, I would say that I have really strong erectors, so I rely on like my back and my hamstrings a lot to, get that squat up, get my positioning right. Like I'm very biased towards the back side, I guess. So whenever I go up, like I'm immediately gonna fold over, but I'm still gonna be able to get it up because of my back.
Okay.
Um, so I would say the knee valgus isn't really an issue. It's just kind of there. Um, it's never caused any like injuries or pain or anything like that. Mhm.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Um, what does Jason say about that?
At first, I think we kind of had our concerns about it, but since we've seen that it hasn't caused any issues, um, we're just kind of letting it be.
Okay, okay. And is it something that you feel that you can control, or is that something that it's out of your control. It just happened and you cannot do anything.
It just kind of happens. Sometimes I can control it, but again, I would say that at lighter weights, I'd be able to like control it and kind of like be able to actively focus on like pushing my knees out and like making sure they don't come together. But at heavier weights, I'm not thinking about that. Yeah, so I just let it be.
And do you think you will be weaker if you try to force your knees out?
Um, I don't know. Mostly because I haven't tried. Um, but I assume not because I'd be in a more stacked position. But also, I assume your body just kind of chooses the path of least resistance. So if my body wants to just do knee valgus because it's like that's what is comfortable to it and it's strong in that position, then I don't see why I would change it.
Okay, makes sense. And have you tried different stance?
I used to squat wide actually before Jason. And then as I transitioned into IPF and I don't know, I think it just became more comfortable to me to go narrow. And I also had like a quad strain early last year, like 2 weeks out of nationals. So like around this time, um, that impacted my ability to be able to point my toes out or even squat wide. So I had to just go really narrow and work back out a little bit. So I think that impacted it the most, like my stance. So now it's very narrow because of it.
Okay, and was the knee valgus thing present back then with a wider stance?
Yeah.
Okay, the same.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe not as like crazy, like not as forceful, but it was still there to a degree, yeah.
Okay. And has it increased how can I say, the threshold in which it happens? I would say when it happens. I mean, maybe a couple of years ago, the knees start to collapse at, I don't know, 130 pounds. And maybe now at a higher weight. Or,
I would say now it's more noticeable just because of my stance.
mm,
But it just really happens. I would say like yeah, like heavier loads, like anything above 120. Mhm.
ok, ok. Allora, ho chiesto a Jessica un pochino qualche dettaglio sulla tecnica sua dello squat, perché nel caso non abbiate visto video suoi di come fa squat. Allora, lei ha una stanza abbastanza strettina, medio stretta, lo definirei io, e è caratteristico, diciamo, del suo modo di far squat il fatto che scenda, diciamo, in maniera tradizionale, però poi risalendo le ginocchia che vanno all'interno, no? Il valgo dinamico delle ginocchia durante lo squat, più o meno marcato a seconda di quanto è affaticata, di quanto è pesante. E sostanzialmente gli ho chiesto qualche chiarimento a riguardo, mi ha detto che è una cosa che non è che faccia apposta, capita. All'inizio anche il suo allenatore era un po' così preoccupato per questa situazione, poi hanno visto che sostanzialmente ci spinge bene, non ha particolari dolori, non ha mai avuto particolari dolori o problemi facendo così, e che questo gli permette di sostanzialmente utilizzare molto quelli che sono dei suoi punti di forza, cioè di recuperare un po' l'alzata quando è pesante utilizzando molto la catena posteriore della schiena, che dice essere la zona che si sente più forte. Ha visto che funziona, non gli dà problemi e quindi semplicemente hanno continuato a allenarsi anche se c'è il ginocchio valgo. In linea di massima è una cosa che c'è sempre stata, anche quando tempo fa aveva una stance più larga, ha detto che anche lì lo faceva in maniera molto simile e non si è mai più di tanto preoccupata. Ha detto che anche volendo non riesce comunque a toglierlo del tutto, nel senso che se i pesi sono leggeri e c'ha margine, magari un po' lo riesce a controllare, però chiaramente quando si fa pesante le ginocchia fanno così e non si può fare molto. Però siccome appunto dicevo non hanno avuto particolari problemi, si sente che da quelle posizioni là lei riesce a spingere, hanno continuato a fare così e probabilmente il suo corpo lo riesce a tollerare, si è anche adattata bene e quindi non ha grosse rogne a riguardo. Okay, I would like to talk about the bench. So now you're training 5 benches a week. Okay, tell me a little bit more about the bench.
We used to do 4 times a week because it worked better with my schedule. and like managing all my time. Of course, I have a lot of commitments, so that was more important to me. But now that I'm transitioning out of school, I have like 2 months left. I have more time for things, especially powerlifting. So I proposed to Jason and Tori, my two main coaches, and I asked them like, what if we increase bench? Why not? Like, I don't see why there would be an issue. Maybe it'll help technique. Maybe it'll make everything like feel more natural every day. I don't know. And so we did, and I actually really like it. I used to bench 5 times a week at one point too, but then we had reduced it to 4 when I got with them because I didn't have time. And I don't think I saw any decrease in my numbers due to that. It was just a time thing.
Okay. So have you then seen an improvement once you came back to 5?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw your 100 kilos bench the other day. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. It's coming along.
More than double your body weight, so very impressive. Which is also more than the world record.
Well, now it is 100, isn't it? Tiff hit 100, I think.
Not sure.
At Sheffield, I think she did.
I don't know.
It is. Either way, like that's still pretty good.
Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive. Especially think about where did you start? Where you started with 60 pounds?
Yeah, so that's like what, 30?
Maybe even less.
Less? 28 maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so now you're training with 5 benches a week. And do you use any variation?
We used to do like a tempo, I think, and I think that's pretty much it.
Oh, so all the other benches are just regular competition bench?
Yeah.
Oh. That's a lot of bench. That's a lot of boring bench. And how many sets per session?
I would say bench also has a ton. On average, I would say anywhere from 6 to 8 sets, and all of them have pretty high reps too.
What do you mean by high reps? Because when powerlifting talks about powerlifter talks about higher reps, maybe they just mean 5. So what do you mean?
I would say sometimes I have 8.
Okay.
Like that's I think the most I've had, and on the lesser range, maybe like 3.
So you don't practice heavy singles there?
I do practice heavy singles. Almost, I would say like twice a week. And it just depends. Like not everything is like super heavy. It could be like opener or something. Yeah, like that kind of weight range. So it's not like super fatiguing, but it's just like to again practice the technique and make sure it's like locked down.
Okay. So do you have a progression here in bench with load or with volume during the weeks?
I would say I don't know. Well, like we don't really add too much load because there's a limit, right? So we always practice within a certain range again too. Jason has his whole training system worked out to where it like plans for those things and like progressively adds like a little more than like whatever you did last block or last prep, whatever. So it just kind of does it for you. So yeah, I would say it's not that much different every single block.
Okay. And what are the average weight range in which you train and you do most of your volume? I would argue maybe between 70 to 85 kgs.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate.
Okay. Okay. So, which is around 70 to 85% of your max. Okay. Okay. Um, so no variation, only just straight
Bench.
comp bench, all the time, a lot of reps, a lot of sets. Oof. Okay.
Yeah.
And singles maybe 1 or 2 per week.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about your last 2 to 3 weeks out? More singles?
More singles practice, yeah. But that's also in addition to the
The
work
volume.
that I already have for you before that, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, so let's say I have like 8 sets of 6 reps, and then I have like one single. And then we'll add 2 singles. Then we'll go
Oh,
3 singles.
at
And
the
then
end?
we'll have the same. No, it's before.
Ah, okay. Oof.
But I still have the same amount of workload after. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. It just works.
Well, it was well, so I'm not gonna
Works.
argue that.
I don't know if I don't argue with it either. I just whatever they give me, I'm like, okay.
Okay, and I would like to talk about the technique you use in the bench because you have a big arch and a wide grip. And do you have any trouble or issue with the depth in the bench?
When we first started, I thought it would be an issue. Um, and I would say it kind of was. Sometimes I have like one elbow is higher than the other, sometimes the other one, but it's never both. Both of them were like never high, I would say. Over time, though, we have worked on that and incorporated more things like more warm-ups, more accessories, more um, just other things to further my elbow depth, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
further like my movement in my shoulders. Like I have a ton of drills for like rehab stuff because I also had a pec strain at one point last year too. Um, so yeah, I think that was the main issue as to why I couldn't hit depth. But now we've since fixed that, and it's like normal every time.
Okay. Also, I saw from some of your videos that you are touching the bar pretty high on your chest. Uh,
Yes.
so is that on purpose to reach depth or something like that, or you are just stronger that way?
It just feels more comfortable. I will
Mm.
say that most likely, like the influence on my technique is from when I used to be able to bench like this much rum in my other federation, right? I would touch like at my ribs, like my
Yeah,
movement was literally less than an inch.
yeah, that's what I thought because I saw from
Yeah.
your last videos you are like this, and I thought, wow, she could definitely shorten the range of motion touching the ribs down there. So maybe it's because of the depth.
Yeah, but because my ribs get in the way, now I can't do that anymore.
Mm.
So I leave my arch as is, but I just touch higher. And it just feels more comfortable because again, since we've now like fixed my shoulder stuff and my pec stuff, and we've built up that range of motion in my shoulder, now I'm able to like go down there comfortably and it doesn't feel like pain, it doesn't feel like I don't feel anything weird. So, yeah, I don't know, it just works.
Hmm. Well, this is I always admire people that can bench with a so wider elbows because maybe it's because of the limited shoulder extension, so that you can just go down without going that down, and it's kind of okay. But for me, if I personally try something like that, I will die with just warm up weight. There's no way I can bench like that. I have to tuck my elbow so much more. Yeah, but I have much longer arms than you, so it's different. And maybe, do you think that maybe you can handle that much volume in the bench because you have such a particular style of bench with shorter arm and so on?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. That is definitely the case.
Okay, okay. So you only had just one pec strain and that's it?
Yeah.
No elbow, no wrist or anything?
One time, or there was a couple months where I struggled with like bar placement on my wrist, And again, it was the same wrist, the one that had the issues for squat. I would like place it in a certain way, and it would like the coldness of the bar would like shoot pain down my wrist and into my elbow, and it really hurt. But that I think that was just a position thing because it fixed as soon as I like moved the bar into a different place. Yeah.
Ok, ok.
Yeah, but that wasn't a big issue.
Allora, abbiamo parlato un attimino con Jessica della panca, di come fa panca. Allora, vi dicevo, fa panca 5 volte a settimana e fa un botto di panca, come potevate immaginare, intuire. E anche qui non grandi sorprese perché sostanzialmente fa praticamente solo panca da gara normale. Vedo che ogni tanto ha fatto anche in passato panca con il tutto rallentato, il tempo rallentato, però sostanzialmente il grosso del lavoro è panca normale con un botto di volume tendenzialmente alte ripetizioni metto da 3 alle 8 la maggior parte delle volte, sul range di pesi dal 70-85%, nulla di nuovo, nulla di strano. Un po' noioso, mi diceva, nel senso che fa tanto volume con pesi che bene o male sono sempre quelli, e con l'obiettivo di fare pratica di tecnica, di macinare ripetizioni pulite. Fa più singoli nella panca, come non sorprende, rispetto al resto, nel senso che qui fa 1 o 2 volte a settimana singole e pesanti, di cui una immagino sia il giorno SBD, non pesantissimi, ma le mie fa tipo più o meno un'entrata, quindi insomma la classica RP8 circa. Dopo abbiamo parlato un attimino di tecnica. Ah, parentesi, ha fatto 100 kg di panca di recente lei, che ripeto, per una ragazza di 22 anni e 47 kg di peso corporeo è tanta, tanta, tanta roba. Abbiamo parlato un pochino di tecnica perché per chi non avesse guardato qualche suo video, lei sostanzialmente fa un gran bell'arco, ha i gomiti abbastanza allargati, nel senso che tocca abbastanza alto a livello del torace, diciamo, a livello del pettorale, tocca alto il bilanciere e fa una panca che è molto larga, con i gomiti molto larghi, che è praticamente quasi perpendicolare con le braccia al tronco. Ha avuto in passato qualche attenzione da dover prestare alla profondità, nel senso che adesso, come sapete, ci sono le regole in IPF che bisogna scendere sotto un certo livello col gomito per avere la panca valida, e quindi ha dovuto fare un po' di prove ed errori, un po' di attenzioni per questa cosa qui, però in linea di massima non ha grossi problemi. Ha detto che ci ha lavorato molto anche a livello di esercizi di mobilità e di preparazione per la spalla, anche con riscaldamento, in modo da essere comoda e non avere problemi in quegli angoli lì. E ha detto che adesso non ha nessun dolore, nessun problema. Ha avuto l'anno scorso, prima dei campionati nazionali, ha avuto uno stiramento al pettorale e ha avuto in passato qualche fastidio al polso, che era lo stesso polso che gli dava fastidio nel lobar. Però a parte queste cose qui, lei sostanzialmente riesce a fare panca in quel modo lì, senza grossi problemi. Molto probabilmente, diceva anche lei, lo fa perché avendo un buon arco, avendo le braccia corte, la presa larga, eccetera, anche con un setup così estremo, non scende mai così tanto da mettere le spalle in una posizione scomoda, quindi riesce a reggere molto volume e a farlo con i gomiti così larghi, cosa che di solito non è fattibile per persone con magari dei rom più lunghi o delle braccia più lunghe in generale. In passato mi raccontava che toccava il bilanciere molto più basso, che era quello che pensavo anch'io facesse, perché con quel setup là ho detto probabilmente riesce a ridurre di parecchio ancora il ROM, però sì, la sua panca sostanzialmente diventava tipo 3 centimetri di ROM, e ovviamente adesso non è più legale in gara fare sta roba qua. Però mi ha detto che curiosamente la sente anche più comoda col setup di adesso, cioè adesso al di là delle questioni ROM lei si sente bene di spingere bene così. Ehm, Basta, questa è un po' l'impostazione sua della panca. So, what about deadlift?
Deadlift. I would say based on your previous questions, if you have any questions about any variations, I don't. I did do like RDLs after my main like deadlifts, but like not any like conventional, not any tempo. I think wait, no, that was before Jason. I used to do like paused deadlifts. Um, but since being with Jason, I don't think I've ever done paused. Yeah. We just do normal deadlifts every single
Normal, boring deadlift all
time.
the time, all year.
Yeah.
Ok. So what about sets and volume?
I would say literally the same as like squats and bench. So bench definitely has like the most amount of volume just because I can tolerate more. Squats is like the second most, and I would say deadlift has the least. Just because of how natural it comes to me. We kind of just say that I'm built to deadlift. I look like a forklift. I don't know, whatever analogy you want to make. But yeah, it just works, so we don't really need to practice it as much. It's just kind of there.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's the side effect of being good at the deadlift is that you are struggling with the squat. That's,
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
have both.
it just happens, but it's okay.
That's life.
Hmm.
So two sessions, usually just competition style sumo deadlift, and then sometimes RDL.
That's more
Okay,
in off season,
for
though.
the off season
Like
only.
in comp prep, we don't do RDO.
Okay. How many reps?
Um, I would say the most I've ever had was 6. So that's why I say it's less because my squats do have more, my benches do have more, but my deadlift has way less. Mhm.
Okay. Um, are both sessions, I would say, the same intensity and fatiguing style session, or one is heavier and the other is lighter?
Um, they're both around the same. I would say again, my Friday SBD, because it's more of a primary day, um, can be heavier, is definitely heavier. And my other day is a bit lighter and more reps. They usually have around the same sets though.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I mean the weight is like there's a minimal difference. So like it could be like a 10 kilo difference or maybe 7 like across both days. Yeah. So it's not that much of a difference.
I saw a clip of you deadlifting 175 maybe, or maybe even 180 for two. Am I right?
Yes, it was 175.
175, right. Which is more than 3 times your body weight?
Yes.
Oof. What is your best deadlifting competition?
177.5.
177.5. Okay. Okay. Um, let's talk back about programming. What about singles in deadlift?
I do get singles. Um, I would say again, it is more towards comp prep. Um, not really in the off season. Is we more focus on like building up my tolerance for volume and like easing back into it, and then like comp prep is where we're like really pushing and adding those singles in.
Okay. Okay. Do you always practice with the belt, or do you also practice without the belt?
Oh no, always with the belt.
Always with
um
the belt.
Starting after 2 reds I add my belt.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
over 120, you start with the belt. Okay.
yeah, I don't know, I can't brace into it. It like requires too much of my back. Like I think because I already use so much of my back in squat, my deadlift is like, nah, you gotta use your legs now. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. So I just have to have that belt.
Um, have you had any grip issue?
Um, the biggest grip issue that I've had is like my calluses ripping, but no, not really. I've always pulled mixed too. That's never been an issue. I actually like can't really pull in straps. Like if I try to use straps, like it just pulls me too much forward.
Oh,
And I can't even get it off the ground sometimes.
oh, that's strange.
I know, yeah. I use it in RDLs, but also like the weight is lighter, you know. But I don't know. When I'm doing like actual sumo practice, I can't use straps.
So let me ask you something. Uh, where do you place the bar when you use a mixed grip? Do you place the bar back like in the edge of the fingers or here?
I place it. Sorry, my dog is like running around right there. Anyway, I place it like more in the crease, like right here. You
Okay.
can see like my calluses where they are, and like my fingers are not like super long, so I can't really bias too much
Mm,
into my fingers because then it will fall out. Like my fingers are just not long enough. But
okay.
yeah.
So do you think it's maybe because when you try with straps, the bar is in a different position in your hand? Maybe is that why you are feeling
Yeah.
different?
I think so because in straps, like I do try to like make them as tight as possible because you do want it to like do all the work for you in grip. But then it like makes the bar like go further in, and
Yeah, that's why.
I just can't like I don't know. It just doesn't feel natural, I guess, and my body just doesn't want to do it.
Mm, okay. But strength-wise, you are comfortable with your hands in the deadlift.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Hmm.
What? Because sometimes mm, girls in the smaller weight class, in the lighter weight class, have some issue with the grip because of the dimensions of the hands. So you don't have this problem. So perfect.
I know, yeah, I'm awesome.
Ok. Allora, per quanto riguarda lo stacco di Jessica, mi diceva che fa 2 stacchi a settimana, come dicevamo all'inizio. Anche qui mi ha detto subito, guarda, ti salvo già le domande perché non faccio varianti, non faccio robe strane, semplicemente stacco normale tutto il tempo. E, e quindi non ci sono grandi cose da dire. Fa lo stacco rumeno a volte dopo aver fatto lo stacco sumo, ma soltanto diciamo nell'off season, lontano dalle gare, non durante la preparazione delle gare. Di tutte le tre alzate lo stacco è quello con cui ci fa meno volume e non sorprende, e con cui le ripetizioni sono più basse, perché metto il massimo va a 6 ripetizioni, quindi anche qua nulla di strano, diciamo che ce lo aspettavamo. Non fa stacco regular mai, praticamente fa solo sumo, sempre con la cintura, metto che da 120 kg in su fa sempre con la cintura. E per darvi un'idea delle proporzioni dei carichi che fa, lei ha fatto in gara come sua migliore alzata di stacco 177,5, però l'altro giorno ha fatto un 175 per 2. Ehm, il giorno 1 è forse il giorno leggermente più leggero, anche se comunque non cambia tantissimo in termini di difficoltà. Il giorno 2 di stacco è quello che è inserito nell'SBD, è il giorno un po' più pesante. Quindi per fare un po' una distinzione, diciamo il giorno 2 è quello più pesante, il giorno 1 è quello con un po' più di ripetizioni, ma più o meno i set sono sempre gli stessi. Poi abbiamo parlato un attimino di presa e mi ha detto che non ha grossi problemi di presa, non ha mai avuto particolari problemi, gli è successo soltanto di rompere dei cali, ma a livello di proprio di forza di tenuta delle mani non ha problemi. E una cosa curiosa che mi diceva è che con gli straps per la presa va peggio, non si trova bene a fare lo stacco sumo, lei usa di solito la presa mista e si trova bene in quel modo lì. E poi abbiamo cercato di capire un attimino come mai, perché dove mettere il bilanciere come posizione sulle mani, e dice che probabilmente, cioè, diciamo, la supposizione è che probabilmente mettendo le fascette strette per far sì che il bilanciere sia ben fissato, le stringe molto e il bilanciere va un po' più su sulla mano, e quindi questo gli cambia un po' la posizione di partenza, perché le diceva che con le fascette si sente tirata in avanti, che fa fatica a partire, mentre probabilmente con la presa mista tiene il bilanciere un po' più basso verso le dita, e questo gli dà una posizione un po' diversa e è più abituata così, va bene così. Però curiosamente per fare lo stacco rumeno usa le fascette, là invece non ha difficoltà. Basta, questa è un po' la situazione sua dello stacco. So, you already told me about injuries a little bit. Do you have anything to add about injuries, about any problems, muscle-related problems in your career?
I would say I think I had adductor strains back in 2021. That was before Jason again. Um, and it affected both. So it would like switch over. So at first it started with my left adductor, and then it went to my right adductor, and then it was both at the same time.
Well,
And yeah, that was really hard to deal with because I was again also in prep. I couldn't really do much. I had a couple like exercises that I could do to like minimize it right before I went up to the bar and, put it for my attempts. And then I'd have to do that again after like every rep, every attempt to like get ready for the next one. So it was kind of weird, but it was like manageable. And then we have since been able to again like rehab it properly, and now it hasn't become an issue again. But that also might contribute to my knee valgus
Mm.
issues. I think that maybe like has made it more prominent now than it used to be because of that or those injuries. But now like it's not an issue. I haven't had an issue with it.
Okay, so what kind of exercise were you doing to prevent you from having pain before the attempts in the meeting? In the meet, are there isometrics?
Yeah, it was band. It was like a banded, I think like crab walks.
Okay.
Yeah, like where you put it around your ankles and like sidewalk. I think it was that. And maybe something else. But it was all related to like opening and closing your knees like at the hips to
Mm-hmm.
like lengthen that and shorten it, like to kind of warm it up. Um, I think it was that. Yeah, and that really helped.
Oh, but did they help for a, I'm gonna say, did they help for an analgesic way for a moment or in a different way?
Yeah, it was for a moment.
Okay.
I just needed it because this was like during comp prep, and when I got to meet day, it was still an issue. Like after squats, like my adductors were fried.
Mm.
Um, but then like before deadlifts, I can't have this pain affecting my deads. So I would do it right before I went up for an attempt, and it would help it temporarily, but then I have to do it again after to get ready for the next attempt. So it was only temporary. And then after we worked on like you know, Copenhagen planks and
Mm-hmm.
like a bunch
Mm-hmm.
of adductor strengthening exercises and everything like around that, like hamstring and quads and everything around it too. So we ended up like being able to fix it. But at the time, yeah, it was just temporary.
Ok.
Mhm.
Ho chiesto un attimino a Jessica qualche altro infortunio, se c'è qualcos'altro che gli è capitato durante la sua carriera, oltre a quello che già ci ha detto prima, e mi ha detto che nel 2021, se ricordo bene, ha avuto dei problemi con gli adduttori, prima uno, poi l'altro, poi un po' tutti e due, andava di qua e di là, e che quello insomma, gli ha rotto un po' le scatole, e dopo nel tempo, adesso non gli dà più fastidio, nel tempo l'ha imparato un po' a gestire e ha detto che una cosa che si è trovata costretta a fare prima della gara, vabbè, oltre a tutta una serie di esercizi, eccetera, però la cosa curiosa è che nel momento della gara faceva degli esercizi che era un misto tra allungamento, riscaldamento e quello come lo volete chiamare, che faceva, subito dopo faceva l'alzata e poi doveva ogni volta rifarli prima dell'alzata successiva perché cioè, diciamo, il sollievo era temporaneo, gli dava un po' di sollievo momentaneo giusto per fare l'alzata, però prima di fare l'alzata dopo doveva rifarlo di nuovo. A parte quello, sostanzialmente non ha avuto grandi altri problemi. Your dog is going crazy.
Oh yeah, he's running around.
Ooh. Grab it, grab it, grab it. Whoa. Hello.
Hello. Say hi.
What's your name? What's your name, my friend?
His name is Bao.
Bao?
Bao. Mhm.
Ooh.
I know, because he looks like a little bun, like a little bread bun. Okay, bye.
So, Jessica, would you like to talk about nutrition as well a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, what are your plans for the future, weight class wise? Are you planning to stay in the 47 class?
Yes, I do plan to stay in 47s. I currently don't even fill out the weight class. So, um, actually, like for this meet in a week, like we've been just increasing my calories because I'm way too light right now.
Okay, so are you struggling gaining weight? Is it your goal to gain weight?
Yeah, well, due to a couple of circumstances recently, and probably in addition to stress and like, just walking a lot to school because my campus is pretty big, um, I've just had a issue like gaining and maintaining my weight at the range that I usually do, and I was just like kind of dropped. So I'm working on getting it back up, and it's just kind of, I don't know, we're just kind of in a phase where we're trying to gain it back.
Okay, and do you also track your calories and stuff like that? I guess so.
Yes, yes, I do. I eat like the same things every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kinda knew that from before because you seems like a person who is very organized that plans everything. So this was a an obvious question for you. And what are your macros right now, if you don't mind?
Right now, we're eating like
110 protein, 250 carb,
I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes.
he does know. 110 protein, what?
250 carb,
250 carbs,
Uh-huh.
40 fat.
And
40
45.
fat. All right.
Yeah,
How come? How does he knows? How does?
he makes all my food.
Oh, that's nice from. That's really kind.
I know. Yes, it is really nice. Because like I'm still in school, he stays at home and takes care of the dog. So that's a stress off my back. And I don't have to really worry about cooking it before training. I just like eat and go. Yeah. Again,
Perfect.
it works with my timing and stuff, so I'm
Okay.
grateful. Yeah.
Okay. I guess you're pretty consistent with your diet. You're always eating everything at the same. You told me before.
Yeah, same thing. I try to do it at the same times, but sometimes, like school gets in the way, my classes, things can be weird, but I do try to eat everything around the same times. Same thing every day.
Okay. And do you have any particular diet style, or just you try to eat your macros and that's it?
No, I just try to eat my macros. Like, um, I literally eat like sandwiches. I eat fries. I eat I eat grapes and Greek yogurt. I
Hmm.
eat overnight oats. Like everything's the same. I don't really have like a specific diet. I do try to stay away from milk and like
Mm.
dairy because I'm sensitive to it.
Canola.
And I'm also very sensitive to canola oil.
Oh,
So I can't eat out because a lot of American fast food restaurants use canola oil for their fries and all their cooking, and it doesn't make me feel good.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Um, so you started from a 44 weight class, and now you're in the 47. But you told me you are not reaching the upper level of the class. So okay. So you don't need any weight cut or water loading or anything. You just go.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, there was a point in my career where I was a 52, and that was in 2020 and 2021. But that was also like post-COVID. I was again still working like full-time at grocery stores because we didn't really close since people still had to get their food, right? So I was like eating pretty bad every day. I didn't really have like a system either. I didn't eat the same things. It was just kind of whatever I found at the store. Um, so I did get up to like 116. I think the heaviest I've ever been is 126
Mm,
pounds. Um, but I never competed like above a 52. I always competed below. And back then I would do um a cut. But now, like over time, because I've gotten, I guess, more serious about the sport and more just like aware of what I'm eating and things that make me feel good for training. It's just kind of regulated over time and it's just gone down.
Okay. If I may, feel free not to answer. How tall are you?
I'm 4'10" or like 4'9" and like 75, 4'9.75.
Okay, let me
So
do
that's
the
like 58
mm,
centimeters.
let me do the math. For
Yeah, like 58, 57.
58. Okay.
Yeah, I think I've gotten shorter too, so I don't know.
Oh, you got shorter. How come?
I don't know. I just
The
feel like
stress, the weight of the
it's not even
books.
stress. I don't know.
Mm,
All the
school,
weight is like bringing me
yeah.
down.
Also the school. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
School is bad.
I know, yeah. I'm glad to almost be done.
In 2 months, right?
Yeah, in 2 months.
Ok. So give me a
So
moment.
close.
Allora, abbiamo parlato un attimino di nutrizione. Allora, sostanzialmente, come dicevamo, un po' sommando le varie informazioni dette qua e là, lei è partita a 16 anni a gareggiare, che era 44, gareggiare nella 44 kg. Adesso è nella 47 kg, non è mai stata in altre categorie oltre a questa, però non l'ha riempita, nel senso che adesso è leggermente sotto il peso. Infatti domani l'altro c'è una gara e ci andrà dentro così com'è. Cercando, tra l'altro, in realtà sta cercando di salire un pochino di peso perché mi diceva che aveva perso qualcosina di peso con insomma, impegni vari, stress e casini vari, e adesso sta cercando di riprendere un po' di peso. Però in linea di massima lei non ha mai dovuto far tagli di peso, water cut o nient'altro del genere. Perché bene o male è sempre stata dentro la categoria di peso senza grossi problemi. Per darvi dei riferimenti che secondo me sono importanti per capire il contesto anche a livello nutrizionale, lei appunto gareggia nella 1,47 pesando un po' meno, è alta 150, 1,58, 1,57, i macros che mangia, perché lei comunque come potete immaginare è abbastanza metodica, traccia tutto quanto, mangia 110 grammi di proteina al giorno, 250 di carbo, 40 di grassi, quindi siamo circa 1 grammo per chilo di grassi, a poco più di 2 di proteine e il resto di carboidrati. Adesso dovrei fare un po' di conti, però sì, nulla di strano, roba normalissima. Mi ha detto che è molto molto metodica, molto diciamo costante con l'alimentazione, mangia tutti i giorni le stesse robe, nulla di particolare. L'unica cosa che fa è stare un po' attenta ai cereali e no, scusa, ai latticini, perché mi diceva che gli dà problemi, e alcuni tipi di oli di cottura che sono presenti insomma, nei fast food americani e anche nei ristoranti, perché mi ha detto che quelli gli dà fastidio, è sensibile a quello e quindi preferisce evitare. E a parte quello, sostanzialmente lei mi diceva chiaro e tondo che non è che faccia chissà cosa di strano, è abbastanza metodica, impostata sull'alimentazione. In passato, nel periodo del Covid, mi ha detto che ha raggiunto un massimo peso di 52 kg, non ha mai gareggiato nel 52, però in quel periodo gli è stato 52 kg, un po' perché appunto c'era il Covid, era chiusa in casa. Lei comunque ha lavorato full time nel negozio in cui lavora anche ancora adesso, però si era un po' più sregolata e non doveva camminare avanti e indietro per il campus e tutte queste cose qua, e quindi aveva preso qualche chilo, però bene o male, a parte quello, nel resto della sua vita è sempre stata abbastanza stabile. Ok, so Jessica, would you like to add something else? Do you want to talk about something else?
No, I think that like basically covers everything. I'm just really organized with my time. I try to make everything as optimal for powerlifting, but as well as like my outside stressors and factors too. Um, yeah, everything's a balance, and you just have to make time to, do the things that you love. So, I don't know. I think I do a pretty good job of it right now.
You're doing pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just excited to compete in like a week.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, Nationals is coming up. I have to earn my spot on the world's team again. Yeah, I think it'll be really fun though.
Okay, if you have a little bit of time more, may I ask you something about the college? How are things in college? How do you like it? And so on. Is it okay for you?
Oh, yes, I do like it. It's difficult also because I did choose a hard major. Like biochemistry is nothing easy, right? Um, but I will say that I do like it. It was hard transitioning in because from like high school, finishing high school and like getting into COVID, having everything be online, and then going another year into like in-person classes, like the learning curve was hard for me. Um, just to transition from like in-person learning to online to in-person again, it was very hard. Um, but since then, like college has just gotten better over time for me. I think because I like what I'm studying. Yeah, and um, even though it's hard, it can be really stressful. Some days I like have to spend all day studying on campus for like exams and stuff. Um, I don't know. It's rewarding. I'm about to graduate. I'm the first in my family to graduate, so it's a big achievement and it's fun. Yeah, and I'm excited to be done and get a job.
So, why did you choose biochemistry?
Um, I think it's really broad, in terms of jobs and opportunities that are available in the US and kind of just anywhere in the world. With biochemistry, you can go a lot of different avenues. You can go into like research, you can go into medicine, you can go into even like business stuff relating to like science. It's just broad. There's a lot of things you can do. I think every single like career in anywhere, you could probably use a biochemist on your
Hmm.
side, especially in regards to like a nutritional career or in regards to anything pharmaceutical, um, anything medicinal. It just all kind of requires somebody on that level to do the research and make sure it's good for your body or human consumption overall. Hmm.
Uh, mm, what field would you like to go?
I would like to continue what I'm currently researching. So I do research on membrane proteins,
Hmm.
like in your body. Well, right now we're doing E. coli, but we study like the interactions of it using NMR, which is nuclear magnetic resonance. Sorry, I know that's kind of loaded. Um, but it's super interesting and I love it. So I hope to continue doing something with that. And if not, just something under research. Anything relating to pharmaceuticals, drug development, um, anything like that. I really love.
Hmm. And how long does your college last?
4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, for an undergraduate bachelor's degree. Mhm.
Okay. Is there any chance to go further and continue your studies, or?
Yes, to get into master's, which is the next level, you have to take an exam called the GRE, and it's kind of just like an entrance exam, the same that you would take like from high school going to college. Um, yeah, it's just like an entrance exam to see if you're ready. Um, and it would be the same if you were going into med school. They also have a different entrance exam. Law school has a different entrance exam, but they all have like an exam that they base their applicants and like their next class for. Yeah.
So your goal is to, in a couple of months, to start working and not continuing your studying in the master.
Yeah, I want to work because I want more experience in the field. Because it
Okay.
goes a really long way to have connections and like know more people who are doing what you do, who like what you do, all that, right? Who can put in like a good word for you for your next step. So if I already have that like baseline of work, then I could go back and get my next degree, but still also have like the good job that I want. And
Mm.
it'll work out better that way.
It will be nice, very nice, because you have both how can I say, a foot in a field and the other foot in the other field, so you know the practice and the theory and so on.
I also want to give myself time away from school
To
because
recover.
because it's been wow, like 12 years of, since pre-kindergarten to, 12th grade, and then another 4 years. I've been in school for 16 years of my life.
That's enough.
I'm only 22,
Yeah,
so
give me a break. Let
I
me
need a
breathe
break.
for a while.
Yeah.
So, if I may ask, what are in your opinion the major problems in college in America, or at least in your college?
I would say um the availability to resources and like knowledge to get those resources. So in total, I would say we do have a good system of resources. Like we have a lot of access to a lot of different things and different people and different whatever. But the people who are supposed to guide you through that don't really help out. Like my advisors for college, they're supposed to be the ones who help you through like making your schedules, help you navigate college, help you, organize yourself and like transition into college. And mine overall just didn't really help. Yeah, so I kind of had to do this on my own, and also being like the first person in my family to go to college, it's been hard navigating it on my own because now I'm the one who has to help all my like little cousins and my sister's kids who eventually will go to college. Like I'll eventually have to help them. So it's kind of hard because like I had to do it all myself, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Do you think that your college prepare you properly to, how can I say, to in a couple of months work, or do you think it's a too too focused on theory and I don't know, just studying theory and not on the job you are going to work in the future?
I think a lot of American schools do really just focus on the theory and like textbook wise. So if I were to change anything, I would make it more focused on like a certain job that you will do or plan to do. But again, like, I can't change that.
Mm,
But in these last 2 years of my college career, my major specifically has this thing where you have to do research in a lab for those last 2 years. And that has really helped for my career. But let's say for somebody who doesn't have that, that would really suck because then they probably wouldn't be prepared to do whatever job they're planning on because they don't have any exposure to it. Meanwhile, me, like I have exposure to it now because I currently do it. I've been doing it for 2 years. So, yeah.
okay. And is that a major complaint between students there? I mean, not just in your college, specific college, but generally speaking, for American students, is that common to complain about the fact that college are a little bit too on the theoretical base, on the theoretical bias, I would say?
I would say for some people, yes.
Mm,
I would say maybe for most students, yes, because of course they care about like grades and exam scores and all that. And sometimes like I say I would value like the experience of getting hands-on work and learning how to do like certain things more than like learning the base of it like over and over and over. Because in biochem, like there's only so much that you can learn like about the cycles and like all the theory. And eventually it becomes repetitive. So like
mm,
every year I've taken like a bio course that basically goes over the same thing every time. So I wish it was something a little different that
mm.
didn't focus like on that. Yeah.
Okay, and do you think that maybe all the full 4 years program of the college could be squeezed together and have a 3 years college, or is it good enough for?
I think it could be squeezed into 3 for sure. Yeah.
A funny thing is that here in Italy, the correspondent degree is in 3 years, not in 4. But here, another funny thing is that here people at the university complains that in Italy, every university is too much theory, not enough practice. And we always say, oh, go in America. In America, they practice a lot. They don't do that much theory. But you're saying the same thing. You're saying that you have maybe too much theory as well.
And I think it's because probably that our degree is spread out through longer. Because if yours, like, let's say if you were to do the same degree like mine in like less time, you would have to hop in to like a research lab like way sooner and like get more hands-on work and experience. So I think that would probably work too. And like I said, there's a lot of resources. So even if your major didn't require you to like do hands-on work, there's always like companies hiring interns for internships, and like it's kind of like a practice job. So like you go for like a summer, which is like 10 weeks, and they train you on how to learn their process in their company, whatever they do. And sometimes they can even eventually offer you a job for after you graduate. Like they will save you a spot. Yeah. But see, like I didn't know that until it was too late. See, and I'm already graduating. But like if you were to know that like really early as like your first year or something, you could get a lot of hands-on experience. Yeah, in my experience it wasn't the case, but I'm sure there's been other people who have gotten like way more hands-on like job application experience.
Just another curiosity, do people around you in your college, know that you're a champ in powerlifting?
Some, yeah, like everybody who I work with and see every day and talk to every day know. And then some people, sometimes I've gotten like random people that I don't know, like coming up to me and they're like, "Hey, I saw
I
you
saw you on Instagram.
Yeah,
You're the strong one.
yeah, they're
Isn't
like,
that you the one who bench more than me?
well, here they call it like cheater benching.
No,
They don't think it's real because
that's not real. Fake weights.
it's not real. It's fake.
Like
Yeah,
arch,
yeah,
sumo.
fake weight. Yeah, the colored plates are fake.
Yeah, of course. Even in competition.
Yeah, it's all fake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ok, give me a moment. Allora, abbiamo parlato un attimino, siccome abbiamo sostanzialmente finito gli argomenti di cui volevo parlare di allenamento e nutrizione. Gli ho chiesto 2 curiosità perché mi sono fatto un po' trasportare dal college che fa, dall'università che fa. E niente, mi ha detto un po' di come si trova, di come fa. Allora, adesso, insomma, per chi è interessato, magari si ascolta la parte in inglese per non allungare troppo il discorso. Comunque sostanzialmente lei è molto appassionata di chimica, di biochimica e quant'altro, adesso in 2 mesi circa finirà, non è interessata a continuare gli studi subito, nel senso che volendo può continuare diciamo, la parte di master, quindi il livello successivo, oltre a questi 4 anni che sta finendo, perché prima vuole iniziare a lavorare, adesso sta comunque facendo una parte pratica, man mano che sta finendo gli studi sta comunque facendo una parte pratica che ha iniziato 2 anni fa, è molto appassionata, lei vorrebbe continuare a lavorare su quel settore lì, perché dopo comunque la formazione che gli sta dando il college suo apre a parecchi tipi di lavori diversi e parecchi ambiti diversi. Lei è in particolare interessata appunto alla ricerca, adesso si occupa, se mi ricordo bene, di proteine di membrana, fa tutta una serie di ricerche su quell'ambito lì, utilizzando la risonanza magnetica per approfondire quegli aspetti lì, e è una roba di cui è molto appassionata e vorrebbe continuare lì e fare un po' di parte pratica lì, e dopo eventualmente magari continuare gli studi più avanti, però facendolo da una base pratica di lavoro già fatta prima. Dopo abbiamo fatto un po' così una panoramica su come funziona il college e queste cose qui, che vabbè adesso non vi annoio, anche perché mi sono perso via io con la curiosità. E la cosa curiosa è che qualcuno là a lavoro dove lei o comunque nel college sa che lei è una powerlifter che appunto è stata campionessa nazionale e quant'altro, però tendenzialmente vedo che non riconoscono la sua forza, i suoi risultati perché usano le classiche scuse, no? Del tipo no vabbè ma la panca con l'arco non vale, no ma sumo, no ma pesi finti, eccetera, eccetera. No? E abbiamo scherzato un attimo riguardo quello. All right. Jessica, if you want to add something, otherwise I'm pretty good.
Okay. No, I think I'm out of ideas too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where can people find you?
Y'all can find me on Instagram at JessieBabyKG. Jessie with 2 eyes. Yeah. I mean that's basically it.
Okay. So Jessica, thank you for your time. It was a pleasure. Good luck for your next competition, and
Thank you.
congratulations for your studies.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.